go ahead and get started. So we're basically don't expect high production value or a lot of preparation. We're essentially going to have a conversation about what Daniel does on Facebook, what he does very well, mistakes he's made, and he spends before we get into like the organic stuff. You know, we're not pretending like everything we've done on Facebook and he's done on Facebook has been free and organic. Daniel spends a lot of money on leads. We use Zillow for sure. I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars have gone into Facebook. Some of it has worked, some of it has not. Trust me, we've tried everything.
Yeah.
But one thing he has done very well, and you know, even if he wasn't my brother, I would say this, is he became very committed to tending his farm and his sphere on Facebook very early on. And I actually remember specific conversations years ago that we had about doing this. And so I have watched him work the things that he wanted to do and do the things he wanted to do on Facebook. And, you know, I've watched his business page go from 200-300 people to about 2,100 people as it sits today. And he's never pretended to be somebody he's not. He never, you know, gets caught in trying to talk about something he's not an expert in. So it's been a very organic process building it up, and certainly attribute, I mean, how much of your success do you attribute to Facebook and your
Facebook in general? It's I definitely would not have the success that we have today if it wasn't for social media, specifically Facebook. I mean, I can track a whole lot of business back to it. And if you want to, we can talk about this later, but essentially kind of use it as a CRM almost. You know, we use other sources to draw the contacts in and create relationships. But if I can find somebody and friend them on Facebook, you know, and draw them into my life and who I am and what I do, that's what we try to do organically, you know, through the user profile stuff. But yeah, Facebook is huge. And then now our business page, we use it. Obviously you have to have a business page to run ads and stuff like that. So we use the business page to feed the team and generate more leads and stuff like that. So yeah, Facebook is huge. It's nothing else like it, really.
Yeah. I like how you said, use it as CRM. I never really thought about that, but it's like your life CRM that you kind of,
yeah.
You actually have a CRM, I know, but I like how you said that. You meet someone, you try to add them on Facebook and kind of bring them into that world. So before we get kind of into a lot of the nuts and bolts, you know, I want to point out, Daniel didn't want to talk about specific numbers, but I'm gonna do it anyway. He's and I started helping him. How many years ago did you start?
I started in 2011, and then you and I started a year and a half after that, maybe something like that, maybe.
I just saw Corey chime in. Hey, Corey, I'm glad you're here, Corey. So 2011, you had just, I believe, you got laid off, didn't you, from your from the Valpak, or it closed down?
Yeah.
You don't have to get into that.
Oh no, I can go a little bit backstory there. So yeah,
the point is you had to reinvent yourself, and you decided it was going to be real estate. So 2011, so that's, you know, about 7 years. And this past year, Daniel did over 100 transactions and $29 million in sales. And he just told me the other day, and again, we don't talk every day. We live an hour away from each other, so I don't hear these things, but he just told me he's forecasting 50 million this year, which I thought about that for hours afterwards. I mean, I just thought about all the things that, you know, it's almost like a fast forward of all the things you've tried and done, and, you know, to know that it's going to culminate into, you know, a pretty good year for you, you know, very, very happy.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So we're going to have a conversation. There's going to be kind of broad strategy advice for being a good, like, Facebooker. Some things you've heard before, some things not. Some things are going to be kind of sales related, and how you can be a good salesman and apply it on Facebook. and we don't have a presentation prepared. We're going to try to stick with 30 minutes. So we're going to kind of get into it a little bit now. So I recall when you first got started in 2011, we did a Google AdWords for you. It was going to a pretty, decent site. I remember we got leads and business from that, and, high-fiving each other, and thought it was awesome. And, that was you hustling to get a few transactions that year. And then I recall you, having kind of an epiphany about Facebook and saying that you were going to commit to it. And I believe it was probably 3.5 years ago. Hi, Megan. And so, we're going to talk a little bit about, growing the sphere on Facebook. Again, I mentioned your page is 2,100 followers. And I mean, I guarantee 80-90% of that has been in the last 3 years. I mean, don't you think?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Last 2 years. Yeah, probably.
2 years?
Yeah.
Even? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Daniel did a presentation. I don't even know who it was for, but it was for agents and talking about how to be good on social media. I listened to the presentation. I took a few things from it, Daniel, so maybe you can expand upon them. But one thing I took with me, I wrote it down right away. I don't know if you said this or you took it from someone else, but and I think this really encapsulates like your entire philosophy on Facebook. But you said, don't make friends to make business. And I thought this was really interesting because I work with a lot of agents. I help people. I have clients. And I can't tell you how many times people told me Facebook doesn't work for them. And I'll be like, what did you try? What did you do? Well, I did this ad. I spent $50. It didn't work. I mean, is that it? That's not a good test. So Daniel has kind of created a lot of like do's and don'ts, things that he does and how he handles his business page and his personal page. But I really like the theme of, don't make friends to make business. And, you want to talk a little bit about that, Daniel? Because I think
Yeah.
if you go to agent pages, 90% of them suck, and they're full of listings.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you do that too, but you do other
Sure.
things.
Yeah.
As well.
Well, I mean, when you're talking about Facebook, you have to remember there's two portions of it as a marketer, as a business person, whatever it is. So you have your, your user profile, which has certain limitations and, but also advantages. Then you have your business page, which has its pros and cons. But yeah, I mean, when you're, you don't, I guess what you're kind of getting at is you want to be careful not to just oversell, sell, because people can get tired of that. Right. And, we try to use the media marketing rule, I think is what it's called, but it's basically a 4-to-1 ratio of, 4 items of value or interest. And then 1 item where you're trying to promote something. If you can see this rule all over TV, if you basically get 4 minutes of, your favorite TV show and then a minute of commercial, you see that on Facebook, you get 4 of your friends posts, 4 or 5, and then you'll see 1 sponsored ad, and there's a ratio there for a reason. But yeah, you don't want to just constantly be promoting yourself because people mentally tune you out, and then once they mentally tune you out and they're not liking and commenting and interacting with your Facebook post, then Facebook algorithm says, okay, this person, is not interesting, and so we're going to not make them show up, on other people's news feeds. And that applies really to the business page and and a personal user profile. So I don't know if you want to go into either one of those specifically, but that general rule is there. And like you said, I think a lot of people make the mistake of just, I'm a real estate agent, blah, 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 right in people's face. And then it's like, oh gosh, yeah, I wonder how the general public views realtors. Like, I have a feeling they talk about us behind our back. Oh gosh, I had to unfriend the realtors on Facebook because that's all that, that's all I see. And but you gotta think about, why are people going on Facebook? They're not going on there to look for listings. They're really going on Zillow to look for listings. So that's what's there, or Realtor.com or whatever. But you can certainly use the reason they're going on there to help promote your listings, promote your business, whatever. You just got to do it in a tactful way. Right. So, I mean, again, there's different strategies with the business page and the user profile page, but that general principle stays there. And you know, in our profile or our business page, we're trying to create interaction, you know, polls or just things that will get people to comment, be interested, and follow us. And then obviously you got to throw in the listings every once in a while there. So same thing with your personal page, same concept.
Yeah. So 4-to-1 interesting versus salesy. Is that your principle for your business page and your personal, or
Yeah. In general, I think it really applies to both. You know, I'd say we're probably more heavy on the promoting our company and creating leads and ads on our business page, but definitely on my user profile page. I don't want, you know, people just to constantly see, you know, ads from me. Hey, you want to buy or sell a house? Hey, you know, here's a listing, blah, blah, blah. I think people, you know, tune you out. And I mean, you know, I was telling our team the other day that I think to be a good marketer, you have to be a good consumer in a sense and really understand the consumer shoes, you know. And so you just look at it, just peruse on Facebook and, you know, look how, you know, if you see other people oversharing their business, and I'm not going to get into all the different businesses that I feel like overshare their business on Facebook, but, you know, the ones that do that, you kind of tune them out, right? I mean, you're just kind of like, okay, I've seen that again. This person's shooting a video. Oh gosh, I know what this video is going to be about. It's going to be about them trying to sell me a product. You know, you want to shoot videos that, you know, people are there to be interested in your life and to see what's going on and see the things that you're interested in because they're interested in those things. So shoot videos about life, shoot videos about, you know, whatever's happening. You know, you're not going to interest every single person. I mean, I like fishing, so I'll shoot videos of me fishing, and some people are like, oh, why are you going fishing? That sounds boring. But, you know, enough people that see that, they're going to be attracted to what I'm doing, and I'm going to make connections with people there. But then obviously every once in a while you got to throw in your business because they got to know what you do. They got to like you and trust you. So they like you and trust you by the normal content that you post. And then you got to throw in what you do to bring that full circle to generate sales out of it. But I mean, if I were just to compare the business page versus, you know, my personal page, I mean, I've gotten way more business from just my user profile page, you know, just the business page. I could say.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about that. I know you. You're one of my best friends in the world, but if I didn't know you, I could take just a couple minutes to scroll through your Facebook page, really exactly, for the last like 2 weeks, and know that you love your wife, you're a family man, you love the outdoors, you're a man of faith, you love college basketball, and I hate to bring, you know, algorithms in a conversation about humanity, but yeah, when you're connecting and you're being genuine on those things, so like I brought up 4 things that you are genuine with, like on a constant basis on your personal profile. Facebook will find other people that are interested in college basketball. They'll find other people who, you know, are outdoorsy as well. And they won't share your message to people who aren't necessarily. So, you know, Daniel's like himself constantly. I mean, you post 2, 3, 4 times a day. Sometimes we're in your living room with your kids like on your shoulders, wrestling you and burying your face in the couch. People know exactly who you are, and it's just interesting that you haven't had to pretend. And that is, you're saying that your personal page and just being that kind of open has you know, built relationships.
Yeah, being genuine. Yeah, being, you know, just bringing people into your life. You know, that's kind of what it is. You're just giving them a picture, a window into your life. And it sounds so like, oh gosh, well, that's not very profound. But, you know, and some people might say, well, my life's not interesting. You know, my life is my life. But when you look at it from, you know, this perspective, I'm looking at you, you're looking at me, you know, on the screen, and you're observing someone else's life. It may be, you know, way more interesting than you might think to that person, you know. So I do it also for selfish reasons too. I just like to document my life for, you know, when my kids are, you know, 20 years old, I'd like to go back and show them a video on Facebook. But I like it, and so other people like it. And, you know, I think about it too, like, you know, one of our team agents is in Key West right now, and they got a little baby. She's so cute. She's in the office all the time. And, you know, I'm like on Facebook, like checking for pictures of that little baby on the beach because I love that baby. So, like, you know, we're interested in those things. We're interested in the human story and human interest. And and that's what draws people in. But again, like I think you got like you had said, I'd said on that one video is like you don't do it just to and this is my life philosophy, but I don't do anything just to create business out of people that I know. I think that's really important. You have to have a good foundation. I think the people that know me know that. But my goal in life is to leave people better off than when I found them. And if you can have that foundation and that is truly your intent, I think people can see that, and I think people don't feel like I'm just trying to sell them something all the time. I think at least that's what I hope. But that's a fear of mine, is like I don't want people to think that. Like, look, I'd love to know you, get to know you, and I'd love to make your life better somehow. And I truly believe, I'm throwing this in there, but I truly believe I can do that through real estate, right? And that's how it kind of comes back around. But yeah, it's the human interest that draws people in. And though you might not think your life is that interesting, you might be surprised. Just document what you do. Hey, we're crazy as a society. Like, social media exists because we're just observing life through this lens of other people. So use that, utilize that.
Yeah. And I mean, you make a good point. I'm not necessarily as open as you, but I mean, I too love college basketball. I mean, I too, do kind of a little bit of kind of, the humanity side of Facebook. And that's, we're going to get to some nuts and bolts here, but that's the best lesson to take about kind of, growing your organic is like, just be yourself. If you aren't into college basketball, don't make a comment about how good the defense, your local defensive team plays. Because someone's certainly going to follow up and say, well, do you think they should have switced to the 3-2 defense early on? And they're going to be lost. So if you like parks, if you like dogs, don't be shy. Don't be afraid to talk about that. So there's some specific things that you post. One thing, before we leave personal, I want to say, like, your page is flooded with gratitude and praise for other people. You never say anything about yourself, but I'm constantly seeing you post things about your agent is great. I mean, you posted a video of one of your agents the other day, and you just said he was an incredible asset because he knows, the rural area so well. And I think gratitude is also a good lesson. And again, genuine. I mean, just don't be BSing people. If you don't feel like someone's a good asset, like, don't mention that. But like, anytime you do business with someone, you talk about a great experience you had. All of your agents, and you don't have to comment on that. I'm telling people.
Gratitude is contagious. Gratitude is contagious. Yeah.
Absolutely.
The more you express it, the more it comes back to you. And I won't comment long on this, but I read a quote the other day. Also, back to what you said, is it's amazing what we could accomplish if we don't care who gets the credit. And so that kind of humbled me, because we're always focusing on, especially as real estate agents, we're like, I want to get my credit. I want my name on the sign. I want my face here. I want that. It's like, but if you can help other people accomplish their goals, that's the fastest way to accomplishing your goals. I always believe that. But yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Well, we'll get to a little bit of the nuts and bolts on the business page. And I based on kind of your principles that you talked about being genuine, posting interesting things, 4 to 1, you've built a real following on your page. People can pay for followers. People can ask people to be followers. And you just posted a listing a few days ago, and you didn't spend a penny on it. And you had 700 reach and 100 engagement, and 3 people. And this is a listing. So you've already done your 4 interesting things. Now we're going to let people know what we do. So this is a listing. It's just organic. 700 reach, 100 engagement, and there were 3 people who CC'd someone else in, like their husband, their wife, or friend, or something.
Sure.
Take a look at this property. But I think that is not something that agents normally get, but I think that has come from you building that genuine audience. They know what they're going to get following your page. They know you're a good human from your personal, but okay, if we're interested in real estate, it's also a good place to be, to follow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we, they come to our page from many different places. But obviously if you do a post that's interesting and people organically share it, they comment, and their friends comment, and their friends like, or whatever. I don't know if everybody knows this feature, but it's a very simple feature, but you can invite all those people to like your page. And we've just been very disciplined with that. So over the years, as people, especially like I said, the last couple of years, as people comment, interact on our page, we go through and just click, 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 and invite every single person. Because if they liked that post, they're probably going to like future ones. And you're just building your audience. You're building your viewership, so to speak, and then potential business for you in the future. So that when you do, like you said, post something organically, it pops up. You don't have to pay Facebook to get it in front of people so much. But, of course, we do that as well.
Yeah. And it's interesting. We'll talk a little bit about some page strategies that you do. But, the point I wanted to make with that is, like, you see the things that he's followed, the things that he's done, and Facebook has rewarded him with reach. Facebook has rewarded him with followers and followers who are truly interested in doing business with him, which is pretty awesome. On the business page, you've had posts that have gone pretty organic. I mean, thousands of views on videos that you haven't paid anything for. You love to do what you call business spotlights, and those have been some of kind of your most organic reach.
Yep.
You want to tell just a quick snippet about?
Sure. Yeah. So, all the ideas we apply are not really new, but we just try to take them and apply the good ones and see what sticks. So I think we did our first business highlight maybe 3 years ago, and it was a local barbecue restaurant. And basically what I did was I stood next to the owners, and we shot a video, and I asked them about their business, and said, share a little bit about it. And they shared their story, because people are interested in stories, and they just shared what they serve. And we got some B-roll of them putting some barbecue in the smoker and stuff like that. So that video, I think it was maybe 2 minutes long. You can probably find it if you go back a few years on the page. And it was amazing. So the next day, and we live in a pretty small town as far as our niche is kind of the rural areas outside of Richmond, Virginia. But so, that video, we put it up there, and it blew up. I mean, it had like 5,000 views in like 24 hours or something like that. And, people were sharing it, commenting, and it was one of the greatest, exposure pieces that we've ever done, is just, highlighting someone else's company. And basically I didn't say anything. All I said was, I'm Daniel Keaton with the Keaton & Company team at Newman and Dunn Real Estate. And I'm here with so-and-so and so-and-so, the owners of this restaurant. So that was all the promotion I did of myself. And when you do that, it's just like gratitude. Gratitude is contagious. When you promote other people, they're going to naturally promote you too. So they shared it on their business page, and it blew up. So we tried to make that a pretty regular thing that we do with our pages, is the business highlights. You find local businesses, you're helping them. You're helping those businesses promote themselves. And in return, you're getting in front of their whole audience, because they're going to share it on their page. Yep. And if it's a business that people like, I mean, you strike gold. Some do better than others. Some of those highlights do better than others, but the ones where people love that company, oh my gosh, I love this restaurant. Here, check this out. Because people, they want to share things. Like, why do we, the psychology behind it, but like, why do we share things on social media? Because we want like almost affirmation from other people that like, I've found this cool thing. Yes. And I want you to like it, to know, to agree with me and affirm that I found this cool thing. And
you inspired them.
Yeah. And you kind of be one of the first ones to inspire them, whatever. Yeah. So same thing, with those businesses, it's like they're sharing it. They're like, this is the great restaurant. I've eaten there a couple times, and they want other friends to see us. Anyway, you're just playing into the psychology of that, and it's been one of the best promotional pieces we use, for sure.
Yeah, and again, me, the marketer, I'm going to bring in algorithms into a discussion on humanity. Facebook knows who likes that barbecue place's page. Facebook knows who's been there, who's checked in there. And so they start connecting these dots between your audience and the barbecue place's audience. And I mean, that's exactly how it works. And then people start commenting on it, and Facebook is trying to connect everyone.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's literally their business models to connect the world. So when you bring in someone else, and this is true on Instagram too, like if you go out and you share other businesses in your story, you start to connect with their audience, and the algorithms kind of take over. All right, we're going to get into groups and additional business pages you use, and I want to talk a little bit about that. But before we do, like, another thing you do that it gets tremendous organic reach is you do contests.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I'm pretty sure this idea came from the Easy Agent Pro page like 3-4 years ago or whatever. But
Yeah.
you want to just talk for about 30 seconds a
Sure.
minute about doing that and how, I mean, we literally have gotten 250 comments on posts,
Oh yeah.
listing posts, 10,000 people seeing it. So go
Yeah.
ahead and talk about that a little bit.
So yeah, so I mean, I think it originally came from an Easy Agent Pro agent or something, and then to you, and then you shared the idea with me a couple years ago, giving you the credit. But oh man, that's been one of the best things. So we just do simple contests, and one of the more popular ones is we do guess the listing price of a property coming up. So it's not on the market, obviously, so they can't Google it and find it. But in our MLS, you can sign a listing agreement, and then you have to have it on the MLS within 3 days. So, but within that 3-day period, we try to use that to generate interest in business of our own, try to leverage the listing. So we put it up on social media and say this property's come on the market on Thursday. It's in this area. We have very general stuff. It's in this area, this square footage, and maybe a couple really cool features about it. So it's got 20 acres, or it has a home theater or something cool about it to build it up, obviously. And then we say guess the listing price of the person with the closest guess wins. We'll do like a $20 movie gift card, and it's amazing how many people respond to those things, and they're always looking for it. They love it, and to where even now when we list a property, the sellers are saying, when is my contest going up? I want to see my house going up in the contest. And it's been a great tool. And, being a good marketer, I think, is all about leveraging. So, you leverage your listing in different ways. You try to create buyers from it. You try to create more exposure from it. You try to show people that you're going to market that property well. So when you sell their property, you'll market it well, but also leverage, like something like the contest. So we started doing these contests, and, somebody wins. Okay, send us your address and we'll send you a gift card. And then I said, why not we, just bring people in to the office? Like, if you want something, we're gonna give you something for free. Come into the office. So we get FaceTime with people.
That's
yeah.
Good.
And so what's happened, this is actually happening. People are coming to the office. We have no clue. We've never met them from Adam. And they're like, well, do y'all sell in the West End? Or, somebody's in here the other day. They're like, I got a piece of land. Do you guys work with just raw land? And one of the agents, yep, I'll help you. And they sat down. They had a listing appointment. So, leverage things like that to get people in your office. I believe as much as you can do to get people into your office is huge. And we have, I don't know if we talk about this later, but we have like a VIP club that we give away stuff every month, and we require people to come in. So about 30 people a month come in our office to pick up prizes, and it's on purpose. They say, hey, can you mail it? Can you bring it to me? No, our rules is to bring them in. And so for about 1 week a month, we got people just rolling in our office. So it's pretty cool, but you want to get them in if you can.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of, I gave Daniel an idea. I actually heard the idea, and Daniel made it better. So that's the story of our relationship. Is I have good ideas, and he's an awesome executor. But the idea about having them come into the office is brilliant. I mean, I didn't even know you were doing that. Like, I was helping you in the days when we were mailing them away. But and I've also want to point out that people commenting in that contest are also, have become buyers of the piece too.
Yeah.
And I love how you pointed out that people who are listing with you were observing you there as well. You weren't necessarily trying, but the next listing is excited about how you promote it. So it's a huge win.
Yeah. We don't do it on every listing, but of course, when a seller says, when is my contest going up, we got to do it on that one. So yeah, they expect it now.
Okay. So I'm going to try to stay for a few more minutes. Anybody, you can follow Daniel's page. We'll go ahead and post a link to it on this. Easy Agent Pro is going to take this and kind of reuse the content on YouTube and other things too. So, but it'll be on the Facebook group for a while. So this is something I had to call Daniel and say, is this something you want to talk about? Because this is really getting into some very specific things that he does for marketing that I don't think a lot of people are doing. And it would be easy for other people to duplicate, or competitors in his market to duplicate. So I wasn't exactly sure if he wanted to do this, but he said yes, so we're going to do
Always
it.
willing to share. I've
Again,
stolen ideas, so I'm happy for people to steal mine. That's what I've learned, you know.
well, you're so committed to the next idea that it's, I appreciate that. So, so Daniel utilizes groups and business pages, and he has. Let me list a few in a way that probably not a lot of people are doing. He has one. I don't know if they're pages or groups, Daniel. I think they're pages, but one that's called Central Virginia Home Values. And he just
Page.
basically, yeah, it's a page. Okay. Another one called, well, I'll get to that one in a second. Another one called Central Virginia New Construction. I personally started one called Charlottesville Area Real Estate and Home Services.
Yeah.
But anybody who doesn't know the power of groups, essentially what you're doing is you're putting a collection of people together on a topic where, or a page kind of does the same thing. But our business, your business page, and Daniel's business page is about, sharing content, promoting things. But when you create this other group or page, you're really narrowing in on the funnel of who's going to be there.
Yeah.
If you're a first-time home buyer, you probably aren't necessarily in his home values page. But the other thing it does is it gives him another brand to do paid ads with.
Yeah.
So a paid ad for home values, and the EasyAgentPro site has an awesome tool for doing automated home values. So Daniel has a page called Home Values, and he runs ads to people in various radiuses if they want a quick quote on the value of their home. He also will put sold listings on there. It's not just all about ads. Various data and stats about home values. The new construction group, I would love for everyone to go to that. That actually was not an original idea of ours, but I think that is one of the best things I think he's done. You could check out that group. It's called Central Virginia New Construction. So within that group, he has team members posting about negotiating with builders, the differences and some of the things to kind of look out for, why you would need a home inspection if it's new construction. And he flooded, like I called him, I said, this is kind of something cool I see somebody else is doing. And in 24 hours, the page was up and the content was phenomenal. So then, oh, by the way, we're putting up great content 4-to-1. Now we're going to run back and we're going to run an ad for people who want a list of available lots in the area. So we already know they're interested because we're showing them content. So now we can turn around and run an ad about available new construction in your area. And I saw at least one that you did, and I know we got a ton of leads from it.
Oh, it's killing it. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that one was EasyAgentPro lead lock. Didn't we lock it down?
Yeah. Yeah. So you just create a search,
a new construction search.
New construction, yeah, homes built after a certain age, and then you can lock it down. And basically, if people want to see the list, you got to give them your email address, and that creates a lot of leads because people love new homes. Like, who doesn't love a new home? And yeah, that one's worked really, really well. I mean, we've gotten leads down to just $1 to $2 a lead sometimes. But then it fades after a while. But they're running at when they're peak, they're doing stuff like that. It's really cool.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be necessarily real estate related. Daniel, our grandfather was a builder. Our father was a builder. We're kind of into building. So Daniel can talk that game easier. But if you're into, your downtown area, or if you're into like restaurants and bars,
golf communities, I mean, anything that's interesting to people. Yeah.
So you can start a page, start a group, and just that gives you a conversation about it. And oh, by the way, people are a lot more likely to engage with you when it's not necessarily a real estate page. If you have a page about awesome things to do in downtown Charlottesville, you're going to get a lot of people. You're going to get people who potentially are in the market. You're also going to get new movers who are moving to Charlottesville, wherever the area is, and you're also going to get people who are selling their home 2 years from now. So you're engaging. Groups are engaging. Groups are powerful. I'm going to do another session on groups because I met into another realtor who's just killing it with those. I started one. It's called Charlottesville Area Real Estate and Home Services. Our city is kind of smaller where I live, so I kind of included home services there. But guess what? Anytime people come to try to join that group, we're engaging, we're introducing ourselves. I'm not an agent, but I work with a local agent here. We're engaging ourselves, introducing ourselves with them. And we have a place to post our listings that has 800 people in it now.
Mm-hmm.
So Dan, not everybody has listings like you. There's good tips for marketing a listing, but if you're new, do you kind of have any advice for people who maybe don't have their own listing yet?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of some
Yeah.
strategies in the groups. I know you did probably 2 weeks of just straight hustle in groups where you were promoting various pages and lead locking them down, the Easy Agent Pro feature. So
Yep.
you want to give somebody a little bit of
Yeah.
advice
So a
who might
couple
not have
things. If you don't have listings and you work for a brokerage, most likely somebody in your brokerage has a listing, and you can go to that agent or go to your broker and say, look, can I promote this listing? And if that agent or broker says no, they're not really helping their seller at all. But so the point is, most everybody will say, yeah, use my listing. So we actually leverage our brokerage listings. I mean, we have about 10 people on our agents on our team. We have another 30 agents in the brokerage. Sometimes another agent will post or list a really unique, cool property that would generate a lot of interest. So we use our strategies to promote that and generate leads from it. And of course, if you're using your Easy Agent Pro page and you have some, obviously a search feature on it, you can post in public groups. Now, there's a lot of rules about posting in public groups. They're different rules, but buy sell groups, we have a ton of them here in Richmond, like
Classified.
Yard sale type
Yep.
people. Yeah, exactly, yard sale type groups, and there's tens of thousands of people in those groups, and you can leverage them, the eyeballs that are watching those groups, and then put that cool listing from your office on there. And of course, you can create a search through Easy Agent Pro. I mean, coming up right now, we're going to create some ads for like pools, because people are starting to think about, homes with pools. So you can create a search somehow that way, or you can create a landing page. And Josh has, you've created a lot of cool landing pages for us. One of the coolest ones has been equestrian properties. We've literally gotten buyers who, with millions and millions of dollars to spend, finding us on that page. But then you say, okay, here's homes that match, that are equestrian properties. Check out all these properties. I posted in a group one time because I'm an outdoors person, and I like hunting and fishing type stuff. So I found a group, and I found all the properties over 20 acres. Created a search in our area and under a certain price range, so it made sense. It wasn't like multi-million-dollar properties, and then posted it in this big group of like Virginia whitetail buck hunters or something like that. And I got so many stinking leads out of that. It was crazy. All these people just flood me. We got any more, hunting property? So you just got to, again, like going back to the human interest thing, like if something interests you, use that in your real estate search, and try to find those people who might be interested in that, and leverage it. So yeah, I mean, groups are great. Obviously, you're talking about creating your own groups, but you can control, you can create your own groups that are interesting. But you can also utilize the ones that are public and free, like I said, the buy sell groups that are out there. And we've created searches and then locked down the pages. And oh my goodness, we would get tons of leads without spending a penny. I mean, it takes work, right? It takes prospecting work, but you're not going to make any money in this business if you're not willing to put some work into it. But let's say you have time, but you don't have money. That's the way to do it. Utilize those groups, and utilize the organic part of Facebook to get those searches in front of people,
Yeah. So quick, just to recap the advice there, new agent, find a listing from your broker, or maybe it's someone else and trust. I mean, it should be something good. It should be something, it's a good price point or a hot area or something like that. Go to the listing agent and say, look, I have $150 that I want to promote that with. I have an idea, and I've seen this idea on other people's pages, and you can tell them, Daniel and I have gotten 10,000 views on properties before they hit the market. And again, you have to follow your MLS rules. You can't always say address, what the address is or whatever, but one thing we like to do is we like to tease it. We say, 300, this home's going to be under 300,000. It's going to be in the West End with 3 bedroom. It's a very rare find. So if you'd like more information, or if you'd like to see the photo shoot, if you want a quick view of the photo shoot, enter your information here. You can create an EasyAgentPro Insta Farm page before the property goes up and lock it down. So again, follow your MLS guidelines. If you can't share the address, that's fine. But go to someone else who has a great listing. I can help you sell it faster because that's what they want. If I can spend, and I'll spend money doing it. I'll spend $100 on it. And I tell you, if you spend $100 and you word your contest properly, you're going to get a ton of exposure. I mean, I promise you, we've never done one contest where we didn't get tens of thousands of people.
Been doing it for years.
150 comments. So that's a good piece of advice for new people. The other one, just recapping about the groups, is if you're going to, I would suggest going into the group and establishing yourself as a human first. Comment with other people. What that's going to do, one, is whenever someone strange that you've never known has commented on something you said, what's the first thing we all do? We click their profile to see who they are. Do we know someone? Do we have a connection with them? And your profile says you're a realtor, so there's free branding in the groups. But then if your group is something like downtown restaurants that downtown Richmond restaurants that we love, then if you can go back and promote after that, then a good thing to promote is something relative to the group. If you're just saying, here's a new listing, or here's homes under 300,000, then you're being a butt, and you're not connecting like we're saying we do. But a better sales kind of post and something like that would be real estate that's walkable to downtown. I mean, how if someone is in that group and they love downtown Richmond, then they would find it helpful that you potentially found it helpful. If the group is about parks, if the group is about pets, here 10 communities, 10 of the most pet friendly communities in the Orlando area. So use those groups. Daniel has, I know we've gotten hundreds and hundreds of free leads in the groups. Use the free groups, create your own group, and then you can do whatever you want. Then you can run ads from it, like Daniel's done with the new construction. Did we talk about the pre-list? I want to cover this, and then we're done.
I think so. Yeah.
Pre-list. Also, kind of a spin idea that we had from someone else. He created a secret group. Not everyone has access to. Only if you're invited. Only if the Keaton & Company team invites you, that you can get a sneak peek of listings that they have coming up. Again, follow your MLS guidelines, but tell us a little bit about what posts you do in that.
Yeah.
So and also, we haven't always, these people aren't always in our CRM. Sometimes we just connected with them on Facebook, like you said, and you reach out to all the people who comment. So go ahead and talk a little bit about that group, and then we'll close out.
Sure. Yeah. So I got this idea from, again, listening to a podcast or something, but right now, at least in our market in Central Virginia, it's still a very seller-friendly market, meaning that the inventory is still low, interest rates are still low, but the big key is that inventory is low. So when I started it was not that way. It was a lot of inventory. It was a lot of foreclosures. It was hard to get homes sold. But listings now are a hot thing. So you have a lot of buyers trying to buy a few listings. So if you can give the consumers, the general public, the buyers, a sneak peek, like an early look at something, there's a psychology behind that, one, you're promoting your seller's listing, but two, you're giving them something that nobody else has, and you're providing value to your database and, generating more interest. So you think about, a funnel. We're dumping people into our sales funnel. And when I think of a funnel, I just think something swirling around. So once they get in there, they're just getting stuff, value. They're getting things. Eventually, hopefully, they're going to come out the small end of that funnel and buy or sell a house with us. But so we have a pre-list. It's called Central Virginia Off Market and Pre-List Homes. So basically, if someone comes into our database in any way, one of the first drip emails that they get, whether we plug it into our database organically or that comes in through a website or something, is an invite to this group, and it's a video introduction explaining what the group is, and lots of people, you know, go in there. We started it maybe I don't know, maybe a year ago. We've got, you know, more than a couple hundred people in there, but there have been a lot of people who want to join it, but we haven't. So we kind of filter it. So we kind of filter it to where it's just our agents on our team and someone genuinely looking to buy a house. Generally, are they looking to buy? Because we filter it with questions. You know, we create a group. You can say, I'm going to ask them these questions. And one of the questions we ask is, are you a real estate agent? And if they say yes, then, you know, we don't bring them into the group, because what we want to do is create our own world, so to speak, and our own buyers that we can market to and that we can show homes to. And so when we post a listing in there, we say, hey, we just got pictures of this great rancher coming up next week, and this is the general area, this is a general price range. Again, you want to give them teasers, like you said. You don't give them everything. Yeah. So you give them teasers. So if you give them too much information, they don't need to reach out and ask you, or it disqualifies them from even engaging to find that information. You want them to engage. You want them to ask questions, even if that listing might not work for them. You want to see, is this person a potential that I could help them buy something else? So we put those in there. We'll do videos. We're just do a selfie video at the property when we meet the photographers there, something like that. Hey, so this one's coming on the market. I mean, I think it works well in this seller's market, because the inventory is low. And so people are fighting. They're just sitting. You think about these buyers. They're just kind of sitting around waiting for that property to come up, because they might have lost out on 3 or 4 properties that they've made offers on. I mean, we got agents who are making offers. Hey, we've lost 5 or 6 times for our poor clients. So if you can give somebody an early look at a property, they'll come in there, and it gives them value, and they're gonna keep coming back to you and what your product you're offering. But it also, we leverage that. So it's like, leverage everything. And so when we go to a listing appointment, we'll tell them about this group, and we say, look, we have 250 local buyers who are vetted and looking to buy a house right now, that are in this area, looking to buy in your neighborhood or whatever in your area, that we'll put this on a page. And we've sold properties before it's been listed that way, and we can tell people that because it is true. And it works to the seller's advantage too, because when the buyer thinks that they've got something exclusive that nobody else can get, it makes them jump on it, and the seller honestly has more leverage into negotiating in that case, because it's really like, well, I haven't put it on the public market yet, so I'm not going to come down on my asking price. If you want it, and the buyers are willing to pay it because it's the property that they want, they don't want to fight with 10 other people. And we've sold properties that way. So, but yeah, I mean, the group just, it's all about churning your contacts, giving them value, and, kind of filtering that group. You don't want 10 other agents on there because somebody comments on the listing. They're going to send them a private message. I can help you, with this property. We want to help them,
Yeah. Start your own group, and you make your own rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Joining these other groups, like we're talking about, you have to follow other people's rules.
Yeah.
But another interesting thing, so, that specific strategy is playing in a little FOMO, because if you're looking for your dream home, you kind of already have it in your mind, and you look at one, it's not right. You look at another one, you put an offer on it, somebody else gets it. So now what do you do? Now you're in this group, this pre-list group from Keaton and Company, and you're just loving the notifications that come in, because you're seeing them before the rest of the world.
Before anybody else does. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, follow your MLS guidelines. Some things you can promote, some things you can't. But the other thing that I've noticed with this is, and it's interesting you brought it up, that sellers like it. I can totally see why. But when you post something pretty hot, people start commenting. They start copying other people in, and it almost creates like a little bit of competition. This particular home under 350 in the West End, this doesn't come around long. So then I will see our instant messages, bing, bing. Like people want to know more info, like about that property. Yeah. Before the world does. I don't know, I don't want to put you on the spot here. I don't know. Have you had buyers from there that specifically, were ready before the home was even on the market? I mean, that's
sure. Yeah,
or
well, we
right
sold
when the home goes on the market.
Yeah. So you're saying, like, have we sold properties before they listed through
Well, or
the
right
off
when they
market?
listed. I mean, have you already been cultivating a buyer?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So this is the interesting thing. This happens all the time. So we put it on there, and then we'll start getting messages from agents saying, well, "My client said they saw they saw something about this property on this street. Can you tell me? I can't find it anywhere on the internet." And I'm like, "Yes, that's the goal. We've got the listings before anybody else does." But obviously our goal is to sell it for our sellers and get the most money. But that shows that the group is working. And so yes, we'll tell that agent, "Yep, it's coming on the market. Here's the details that we have. That's fine. You can be one of the first ones to show it. And it's going on at 4:00 tomorrow. So get ready." And I'm telling you, it works. But yeah, we get a lot of messages from realtors who their clients are on there. Of course, we can't vet every person to make sure they're unrepresented on our page, but so they're going to have agents. Some of them are, and so they reach out to us and they want to know more about the property. It happens all the time. And then they, they're one of the first ones to show it. So they've built up the hype, they've built up the anticipation, and they say if you can sell a house within like 3 days, you're going to get, generally the most money that you possibly can if you can sell it quickly. And so that's the goal: sell the houses, but also give value to the buyers.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. And I wonder, I just kind of had this idea, but I wonder, new agents, like if someone started that group, is there a way to leverage a group like that and tell other agents, I can help you promote your listings? So like someone who doesn't have the listing pipeline necessarily that you do, maybe they can start a group like that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Invite a few close agents in and then say, hey, this is a group that I can promote your we can properly promote your listing before it hits
exactly.
Because I mean, what a great conversation to have with your buyer. You're live at midnight and you have a ready buyer 3 hours before you go live on the listing. I mean, that's a pretty proud moment.
Yep, exactly. And that's the great idea, is to use, again, use other people in your office, use their listings, create a page like that, and just, make sure you're the first one to hear about a listing coming up and share it on that page. And then again, you're building value. So other people are inviting their friends to it. That's another way that page grows, is other people invite their own friends to it, but they have to have a link. And they have to, I think actually the way we set up is they have to send me a message. Can you add Bob to the page? Because he wants to see the listings too. So it grows both ways.
Awesome. So we went over, but if anybody wanted me to cut Daniel off during that last little bit, then you weren't listening. So, but I think advice was awesome. I think Daniel, he and I kind of been on this journey together for a while, but we live an hour away. We don't talk every day. And I was really, I knew he would come on anyway, but I was really excited that he was so generous to share like very specific things, that you guys can do, with your EasyAgentPro site. I'm sure, other marketers are going to be watching this as well. But I really appreciate Daniel doing that. Not everybody is so generous with what's going on, but I think it drives he and I to like come up with the next new thing. We're, now, in case you didn't know, you can go to any real estate, you can go to any page and add /ADS ads to that page, and you can see ads that they're running. So do it on Zillow, do it on Realtor.com's pages. If you have another agent who's killing it in your area on Facebook, you can see their ads. You can see Daniel's ads, but it just kind of drives us to come up with the next thing. Daniel's going to answer questions here. I do want to just promote, Daniel has another group, Facebook group called Sell More Real Estate. Is that right, Daniel?
Yes, really creative. Sell more real estate, but that's what it, what it is. I wanted to make it very clear what the goal is. Yeah, it's just a page where, again, like I said earlier, that I believe that if I can help other people accomplish their goals, it helps me accomplish my own. But I just want to be a person that adds value to other people, and I believe in the end I'll be taken care of. So. I think a lot of people have the mindset in this business of scarcity where, there's, I'm not going to share my secrets. I'm not going to share my ideas. And, because there's not but so much business out there. But I really believe in an abundance mindset. And I believe when you live that way, when you give more, you receive more. It's a biblical concept. But anyway, and just giving just to give. So this page is like came out of that, and we're just like trying to share honestly what we do, and we promote our secrets, so to speak, because not anymore, I guess, and tell everybody what we do. And so you can watch, I get messages from realtors all the time. Thank you so much for, sharing this tip. It helped. And it's like, man, why don't we collaborate? Let's work together to serve people, serve our clients. And I think there's enough business out there for every good agent. I'll say every good agent, and the bad ones will just weed themselves out. But there's plenty of business, and we can all share ideas. But it's just Sell More Real Estate, just designed for realtors, and we share our tips and tricks of what we do on there.
Okay. Two more things.
Yeah.
In that group, Daniel's obviously a very good digital marketer, but in that group, he also, there's advice on negotiating. I've seen, all kinds of great content, not just on the marketing aspect, but like, what do you do in this scenario? And he has a lot of video. But one more piece of content that I want to bring up that I had in my notes, but I didn't. Daniel's building his own home right now, and he decided very early on that he, like everything else in his life, he was going to be very open about this. And so he's in approximately 1 or 2 minute video, he has kind of journaled his process of doing this, and I think it's incredible. From meeting with the builder, to adding on to the plans. Yesterday he posted something about with the bulldozers in the background, and he found something really neat on the property. But who's going to be interested in that? Anyone who's remotely thinking about building a house. And he's very open about it. You're probably going to see some things that, aren't necessarily flattering to him or the process. But it is a great piece of content. And that is one reason, I'd suggest people go ahead and follow his page. And oh, by the way, when the house is done, and they're, turning the keys in to move in, then he and I are going to go back and take all those videos and create an awesome piece of content about it. Cause it'll be a year plus process, and how great, how many people are interested in, the ups and downs of new construction. How great is it going to be to have seen that process go through the seasons? His land is, now, we started, there's kind of snow on the ground on the land, and now things are blooming on the land, and there were bulldozers in the background, and they ran across something really interesting yesterday, that they weren't exactly sure what it was. Some underground,
like a foxhole from the Civil War is what they think. Yeah, we found some artifacts and stuff.
Yeah, so now they're going to look for artifacts. But anyway, it was a very good piece of content. A good reason to follow him. If anybody has any comments, go ahead and leave on here. Any questions, just tag Daniel and I, or both of us. We will respond to every single one of them. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for EasyAgentPro for having Daniel on. And you guys can hit us up on Facebook, join Daniel's group. It's a great group. So thank you everyone, and thank you, Daniel.
Thanks guys. Thanks Josh.